A $6,000 emissions repair on a Kubota before the machine hit 900 hours. That's the B3350, and it's number 8 on this list. Not a rumor, a failure documented so widely that Kubota redesigned the machine and quietly replaced it. So here's what's really going on, and it isn't the paint. Back around 2013, the emissions rules changed. Any diesel making more than about 25 horsepower now had to change. It had to bolt on a filter and a regeneration cycle to burn off its own soot. That one piece of hardware is where most of these repair bills are born, and it quietly became the biggest ownership cost swing in the whole class. So remember that 25 horsepower line, because it decides almost everything you're about to see. 8 machines, 3 that'll bleed you on parts, 5 built to outlive you, and 1 horsepower number that separates the two groups. Counting down. Number 8, the B3350. You bought the orange one because orange doesn't break. I get it. That's the whole reputation. But this one ran a particulate filter and a regen that owners watched run 40 minutes and never finish. Limp mode, over and over. One owner logged roughly $6,000 in filter and sensor work by 880 hours. That pencils out to about $5 an hour just to own it. And here's the tell that matters most. Kubota didn't fight it. They extended the emissions warranty and swapped the model for the common rail LX3310. Its own sibling, the B2650, carries no filter and almost none of the complaints. Same brand, same year, same lot. One had the emissions plumbing, one didn't. Hold on to that. There's a resale sting on top of it. Once buyers figured out which model years carried that filter, the used values quietly sagged. So you pay for the repair once, and then you pay for it again at trade-in. Number 7, and it isn't just one color that does this. These are the machines folks buy to save a few $1,000s up front. The first wave of Tier 4 machines around 2014 from the value brands caught the very same sickness. A Kioti owner on the NX4510 reported over $2,000 in repairs. It took 3 separate trips, and every one traced back to a failed regeneration. The filter had plugged solid, and an injector was dumping about 1.5 times the fuel it should. Now these weren't badly built tractors, but the emissions system bolted onto them was brand new, and the first model years paid for everybody's education. And a plugged filter doesn't warn you politely. It throttles the engine down to a crawl right in the middle of a job, and it won't let go until somebody clears the code with a laptop. So connect it before we go any further. Every failure so far shares one part. It's the after-treatment system the government required the moment a diesel crossed that 25 horsepower line. Same villain, 3 different badges. That's not a coincidence, that's the design. And it means the fix isn't loyalty to a color. It's knowing which side of that horsepower line your next machine lands on. Number 6, and it's the biggest single number of the 3. A Mahindra 5035 with under 60 hours on the clock destroyed its injection pump and its injectors. The parts quote before anybody even turned a wrench was $57.45. And I want to be fair here, because Mahindra sells more tractors than anyone on earth by volume. So this is one model and one system, not a whole country's engineering. They build simple, solid machines, and plenty of owners run them for a lifetime without drama. But parts like an injection pump don't sit on a shelf near you. So the machine waits, and the season you bought it for slips right past you. But a fuel system that eats itself before its first oil change is exactly how a bargain turns into a boat anchor in your shed. And yes, I know I just spent 4 minutes teaching you to fear an exhaust filter. But that fear is worth about $6,000, so let's spend the rest earning it back. The point was never to scare you off a color, it was to show you the pattern, so you can walk the lot unupsellable. Here are 5 that earn the phrase I'm normally careful with. They will outlive you, as long as you keep them cool and change the fluid. Number 5, the value play, the LSMT2. It runs a Yanmar or a Kubota diesel underneath. Both of those engines have long, boring, reliable histories, which is exactly what you want in iron. The sub-25 horsepower version skips the filter entirely. But the dealer network is thinner than the big 2, and older units had plastic fuel tank seams that could split. Buy it where a dealer's close, and it's a whole lot of honest iron for the money. Number 4. The used legend, a gray market Yanmar, the YM240 or the YM2000. These were built with oversized gears for double duty in the rice paddies, and they carry the best parts support of any imported gray tractor over here. But gray market means no warranty, no emissions label, and parts only through specialists. Some cousins, like the YM177, have almost no support at all, so buy the well-backed models only. Get the right one, and as the parts sellers love to say, if you break it, that's on you. Number 3. The Resale King, a pre-emissions John Deere compact with a Yanmar engine under the hood. Tier 3, no regen, and the strongest dealer and resale network in the country behind it. But the resin hoods crack with age, and the newer green machines start pulling you toward locked software and pricier parts. The older ones, though, honestly, they just run, and they hold their money like almost nothing else out there. Number 2. The Workhorse, a Kubota Grand L, right around the L3560. Cast iron front axle, cast rear end, and a bigger hydrostatic unit rated for genuine load. Now this class does carry a filter and a regen, so you have to keep up on it. And neglect the hydrostatic fluid, and you're staring at a rebuild north of $7,000. But that's the myth I'll kill right now. Hydrostatics don't wear out fast. They die from heat and dirty fluid, and both of those are your call, not the machine's. Maintained, it's a 20-year tractor without an argument. Number 1, and this is the one I'd put my own money on. It's the Kubota L2501, and its newer twin, the L2502. 24.8 horsepower, parked one notch under that line on purpose, so it meets the emissions rule with fuel tuning instead of a filter that clogs. No regen, no limp mode, cast transmission, cast rear end, a steel hood you can dent but not shatter. It's been the best-selling compact in America for a decade, and that isn't marketing, that's owners voting twice. But it's deliberately held under the line for a reason. So the loader feels a little soft, and it's light enough that you'll want 600 pounds of ballast off the back. None of that shortens its life, though. It just means you drive it like the tank it is. So this is the one thing to carry to the dealer. Durability was never the badge, and it was never the color. It's whether the machine makes more than about 25 horsepower, and what it had to bolt on to get across that line. Cool it, feed it clean fluid, and the right one genuinely will outlast you, and probably the guy who sold it to you too. The next video names the 3 loader specs the dealer hopes you never ask about. One of them quietly voids your frame warranty the first time you lift with it. YouTube thinks you'll like these 2, so click 1. And if you made it to the end, subscribe,